Snipers, you have to see what's happening to the Bitcoin price this Friday as we're heading into the weekend where the markets are the most manipulated. In reaction to Jerome Powell's speech yesterday, Bitcoin did nothing at all, actually. It just copied and pasted the candle from the day before. And heading into the weekend with Bitcoin not reacting to Jerome Powell doesn't mean it's not going to see a reaction. And so I want to talk about what's happening in the smaller time frames where everything will morph into the larger time frames to talk about whether or not Bitcoin's cup of coffee right now, in between the previous weekly open at 47,000 and the $49,700 resistance level, is going to potentially lead us to see any further highs, or if this is truly a point of resistance where we're going to see a breakdown to the monthly open at 41,950. And of course, just because we didn't see a reaction immediately after Jerome Powell spoke, if you were actually looking at the charts at 10 a.m., they moved it from 7 a.m., there was a lot of volatility, but the fact of the matter is the daily candle just stayed in the same range as the previous day. So nothing really fundamentally happened. We held the $47,000 support level. That is one puzzle piece on the table, but we've yet to get above the weekly open. And this is already acting as a resistance at 49,300. So we want to address this on the table. And of course, it's the weekend, so anything can happen. It's actually, quite the timing for Jerome Powell to do his meetings on a Friday before Wall Street goes and plays golf during the weekend, because we can assume that Jerome Powell wants the hedge funds to marinate in what he said, think about every single word, and then possibly react to it on a Monday or Tuesday into next week, right? I mean, that's how these hedge funds work. That's why there's a market open and a market close. They go, they recoup what happened the previous week, they re-strategize on the weekends, and then they come into the trading week ready for making their moves. And so we're going to look at the other markets. They're going to give us a lot of hints as to what Bitcoin is going to do, especially the DXY. And maybe that's why we have yet to see Bitcoin react to the Jerome Powell talk yesterday. I think it truly is a significant thing to keep in mind, especially with Bitcoin, showing volatility, at exactly 10 a.m. yesterday when Jerome Powell got on. I was watching it live, and it was quite obvious that, Bitcoin is reacting to every single word he was saying, but the daily candle just stayed in the same range. And I think the reason for that is traditional markets just didn't have the time to react to this. I mean, they have yet to think about every single word. They're going to dissect it all. We know how these hedge funds work. They might even have artificial intelligence dissecting every word he says. This is the first time he mentioned this year when talking about tapering. Those are the type of things that we're going to see the market react to on a Monday and Tuesday rather than on the same day that he came out and spoke. I mean, there's a real reason that it was at 10 a.m. on Friday prior to markets closing, right? So we can get some hints as to what's happening, though, with Bitcoin, because it's a freer market. And in my experience, Bitcoin reacts before other markets. Maybe because it's 24/7, maybe because there's an Asian session, and there's a lot of reasons we could attach to. There's always a narrative to everything. But what I do know is Bitcoin in March 2020 reacted a lot faster than the traditional markets did. When it, initially saw the drop to 3,000, it came up very strong, above 5,000. And so what we really want to monitor here, in my opinion, is this weekly open sitting at the $49,300 level. That's the first area of resistance that the bulls need to reclaim if we want to test 49,700. Now, if we get above 49,700 on the weekend, we could expect 54,000 to come on the table. But if we don't get above 49,700, then we have to keep in mind the range that we're in is still going to be 47,000 to 49,700. At any point in time, if we break 47,000, the cause of concern that I have is that would bring Bitcoin to 44,800, where it's below the 200-day moving average. That changes the emotions and the sentiment in the market. And that could lead Bitcoin to come to test the monthly open at 41,950. And the problem with that is now it puts us in between the 200-day moving average, which will then act as a resistance, while we have the 50-day moving average coming to act as a support. And that puts Bitcoin in a more neutral range where we could potentially see over the next few weeks, for example, Bitcoin kind of hold the 50-day moving average without seeing much price action below 41,950, and also not being able to get back above the 200-day moving average, which would at that point come to 44,800. And so we get stuck in this range between 44,800 and 41,950. The problem with that is now, because short-term price action can be manipulated by traders, but macro can't. And so what if they take advantage of this channel at 44,800, 41,950 to bring some fear into the market, to drive Bitcoin's price to see further lows for this year? That's why I think 47,000, the previous weekly open right here, is a key level to watch right now, because this door opening puts this whole scenario on the table. And so 47,000 could potentially open the door to see further lows this year. And so, a two-dimensional analyst will say that 40,000 is going to be a support. I agree. It could be a support for a couple weeks. But we get caught between these moving averages at the 200-day and 50-day. That might not be a good scenario for Bitcoin. And so until 47,000 breaks, by the way, we have yet to get a test of our opinion about Bitcoin dominance. And so the only way we're going to test our opinion for Bitcoin dominance is if 47,000 breaks, right? Because if that happens, now we can see downside. And remember, you have to attach a narrative to the technical analysis, which is black and white, and the narrative is colorful. It could be anything. And so the narrative would have to be price of Bitcoin coming down, causing fear, Bitcoin dominance comes up. Because if Bitcoin continues up, altcoins are going to stay strong. That's why Solana, for example, is just moving up, seeing new all-time highs, while Bitcoin did nothing over the last 2 days, because it's still consolidating between 47,000 and 49,700 at a high range, just below the golden zone, which so far it's rejected. We could say that at 49,700. That's just causing altcoins to continue their rally. But we see the downside come. We get below 47,000. Now we can start testing this Bitcoin dominance opinion. And so if that happens, that's important. Now, once again, 49,700 breaks to the upside. Now all we need to do is get to 54,000 and then hold 49,700 as a support so that we can get to 58,353. And now we can start talking about the scenario for new all-time highs. So I think that those are the two ways this is going to play out. Now, here's the thing with Ethereum and altcoins. Ethereum to US dollar is going to have a tough time getting above 34.54 if Bitcoin's not above 49,700. And so if this upside scenario does not happen for Bitcoin, Ethereum's scenario is that it stays in the range that has a support of 1980. It's a large range, but that is important to know, right? Because when we're at 1760 and I said take your swing trade entries here, because there's a large range above 1980, and we get above 1980, this could pump all the way to 34.54, which was 80% upside, and that happened. And the other thing is, when the two-dimensional analysts were saying altcoin season was over, I was saying it wasn't, and that was true, because if you ended up selling your altcoins down here, then you would have missed out on this run to the upside. Where Bitcoin, when Ethereum was at, let's say, the $3,300 level, Bitcoin is at 64,000. Bitcoin hasn't been at 64,000 since May. But Ethereum got back up there, right? So you preserved your gains. You may have made more money holding altcoins. And the reason we said altcoin season wasn't over is because the others' dominance was sticking to this 20-week moving average, and that was totally fine. It was the most bullish chart in crypto because Bitcoin came so far below the 20-week moving average. But I kept telling you guys, there's a major support here that we're testing from 2017 and 18. And garden variety market behavior says that Bitcoin local top, altcoin season was in progress. Next destination is a retest of previous resistance as support. We were at least going to see a reaction as a lower high or a higher high. That's what I was saying over the months of June and July preceding what happened in May. I was saying this was what I was expecting, one of these things to happen, and then we could start talking about altcoin season being over, because that lower high could really bring in a lot of gains, and we saw that with Cardano, Ethereum, and some of these other altcoins. Solana and Cardano, new all-time highs, and a lot of other altcoins, Axie, Infinity, right? So the altcoin season was still intact. It's still intact, but until we see 47,000 break, we're not going to get a test of this opinion. So 49,700 breaking to the upside, I think altcoins will continue to rally, and we come for this higher high. That could allow the Ethereum prediction of those that want it to flip Bitcoin to come to fruition, at least to be tested before seeing it push back down. But I personally would say that the problem with this is that may have been the initial direction of this market, but with the DXY now moving up and double bottoming, I think that, obviously this was the top 4 Bitcoin when the DXY bottomed out. I think that this could have changed the playbook now, because we know this chart correlates with Bitcoin dominance to where now Bitcoin dominance is ready to come to its 200-week moving average at 57.2%. Local top already tested the 20-week. It makes sense for this to happen. And so, like I said, the narrative of this would be Bitcoin coming down. I don't see this happening if Bitcoin goes up. So Bitcoin breaks 49,700. Maybe Bitcoin dominance comes a little bit lower. We form a lower low. That's on the table. And then the others' dominance forms that higher high. So I just want to throw that out there. I could be wrong. I don't know. But I will tell you this. I'm sticking to the fundamentals. And we tested the 20-week moving average already with Bitcoin dominance. We saw a local top. DXY is already moving. That's why 3-dimensional, right? And then the 4th dimension to this is going to be the S&P 500. We're seeing new all-time highs. But remember, we saw Jerome Powell speak and start the purchases of mortgage-backed securities and bonds on March 24th, 2020. We saw that, and then that was the bottom. And so Jerome Powell spoke yesterday. Hedge funds are playing golf in the Hamptons right now, thinking about what he said. Oh, we might taper out this year. Okay, so we just saw the Jerome Powell meeting. Oh, by the way, Supreme Court throws the eviction memorandum out the window. You can now evict your tenants during the crisis here. Oh, okay. All this stuff happening yesterday and today. Jerome Powell, once again, remember, bottomed the market. Is he topping the market? I'm just going to throw that out there. I mean, I probably am wrong on that. You know how hard it is to predict the top. But what I will say is, are we seeing this coming soon? We want to monitor the S&P 500. I think the DXY is going to be the first hints of this. We're testing 92.62, but that's a major resistance that we already broke. So testing this as support is no big deal coming to Friday. This is what we see, and then Bitcoin dominance will most likely come up. We open the week and we break 92.62. Now we can start talking about a elongated season of asset inflation, which means asset prices going up. I hope you guys enjoyed today's analysis. I certainly appreciate each and every one of you snipers tuned into the channel on a Friday. I want to pick a winner to win Mastering Bitcoin, one of my favorite books on the technicals of Bitcoin. And if you want to win this book, all comments are legible. Marcos says, great content again, Naeem. I really enjoy how wholesome your analysis is and the fact that leads one to think about all worldwide moving parts. You've been inspiring me to one day maybe start my own channel. Cheers. Yeah. I mean, when you're managing large amounts of capital and receiving ongoing cash flow, you have to be apt and aware of asset prices, monetary policy and the narratives that they attach to the price action doesn't matter as much as the technicals. You know, you really want to focus on the 20-week moving averages, the trends of assets, all assets, right? Because money just moves from different markets to other markets. We're seeing gold and precious metals right now starting to see some, you know, some price action to the upside. That's a initial indicator of fear in traditional markets. So this, you could say, reacted to Jerome Powell, seeing strength. So people hedging their money after what Jerome Powell said, that the dollar might strengthen here soon. So this could have been a reaction. I mean, commodities tend to react before markets, right? They don't need time to go home and think. So, you know, I think we really want, I was, you know, pushing this video today, hopefully to see some price action, but unfortunately, Bitcoin just copied and pasted the candle from yesterday, so I couldn't really get more on the macro. But what I will say is I think this weekend, you know, it's really going to be a fight between 49,700 and 47,000. I think getting above 49,700 would be really nice. I think that would be a great scenario. Just keep in mind that's breaking the golden zone from this retracement move. And so I don't know if we can justify that we've already seen a true ABC correction here, you know? So I don't know. I mean, this, you know, this could be a more elongated move. I'm just thinking more macro. You know, we go into this 4-hour Ichimoku. We're holding the Ichimoku, but we've already come down below it here and tested these lower areas. And that's the first time, really, I mean, since the start of this trend. We did it kind of, you know, on the 19th of August, but that was the first test of the channel support to take us to the golden zone. And then we tested again, tested the third and failed, now coming to test it as resistance. I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to be the umpire here. So so let's see. Let's see what happens. And so thank you all for tuning in today. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. We want to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. It's been a dream of mine for over 10 years since I started my first gaming YouTube channel. Having that plaque from YouTube, man, that's such an honor. And it's an honor to serve each and every one of you. And until next time, snipers.